Hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about scroll view and how to push the data into Firebase real-time database. The steps in this video are: first we are going to learn about scroll view. Next, how to connect our app to Firebase. Connecting our app to Firebase. Next, creating an XML page with username, age and email. This is XML file. And next we are going to push this username, age and email to Firebase real-time database. These are the steps we are going in this video. These are the steps. Okay, first open your Android Studio, create one new project. I already created my project as a scroll view. The name is scroll view. Okay, now let's go to the main activity. By default you get here and constraint layout like this. You get constraint layout. Change that layout into scroll view and remove this text. Coming to scroll view, generally the Android scroll view is useful when we have content that doesn't fit our Android app layout screen. What scroll view does is, scroll view enables the scrolling action to the layout and its contents which are exceeding the layout. It allows the user to see complete content by scrolling. The Android scroll view can hold only one direct child. I will show you when I am implementing it practically. There are two types of scroll views in Android: vertical scrolling and horizontal scrolling. But this scroll view layout, this scroll view layout in Android only supports for vertical scrolling. In case if we want to implement horizontal scrolling, then we need to use a horizontal scroll view component. I will show you in a minute. Let's get started with practical implementation of scroll view. As I said, it only holds one direct child. Direct child in the sense, only the layouts like linear layout, only one linear layout, or only one relative layout, or constraint layout. See, I will show you. Parent. This is the scroll view structure. The scroll view, this is the scroll view, this is the ending tag. This scroll view only holds one direct child. You can't use another linear layout here. It will encounter an error. So in this linear layout you can in this linear layout you can implement any child. Okay, if you want another linear layout, you can implement here. If you want 3 to 4 linear layouts, you can implement within this direct child of scroll view. In this space you can do that. Okay, now let's get to implementation. See, I want to add a button, 10 buttons. I want to add 10 buttons which are wrap content. Sorry, I forgot to set orientation to the linear layout. If you want to know more about orientation, you can watch the previous videos which are posted in our channel, Umang Solutions YouTube channels. Okay, give the text to the button, and give the gravity as a center. See, now the button is in center. So for these two components you can watch the videos. These are already discussed in previous videos. Okay, now add 10 buttons. Here one button is added, 3 buttons, buttons, 4 buttons, 5 buttons, see 5 buttons, 6 buttons, 7. See, now the layout is fit. Now the layout is exactly fitted to these buttons. If you add another button, it will exceed it outside. It will go outside of this layout. See, when I am adding another button, see here. Here you can see what is this? Let me wait. Let me add another button. See, here you can see that. See, the last three buttons are outside of this layout. In this use case, you can use scroll view to scroll this. Okay, when I'm going to the design, you can experience the scroll. See, this is the last button that is in the layout, and other buttons are outside the layout. Okay, when I scroll them, it will scroll the button. See, scrolling action. See, it is scrolling. Okay, let me deploy this in my phone, in my mobile. I will show you in my mobile. It is very nice in mobile view than this design view. Yeah, my phone is detected. Let's build. I will share my screen. 1 minute after the build is completed. See here, the build is going on. After the build, we can see our scroll view app in our mobile phones. Almost every app, every developer use the scroll view in every activity, almost every activity. Mark my words. Every developer use the scroll view in their mobile applications. Yeah, the build is finished and the app is in my mobile. I will share my screen. 1 second. See, I will share my screen. See, this is my screen. I am scroll view. See, these are the buttons that I added in Android Studio. See, it has the scroll view. We can scroll. It is very beautiful in my phone. Okay, this is the vertical scrolling. What I have done is, this is the vertical scrolling. We can do horizontal scrolling also. Let me show you. Go to the activity. I'm already in activity underscore main XML file. There is nothing is there. Just change the scroll view to horizontal scroll view. The same concept, but we are just changing the view, scroll view to horizontal scroll view. Okay, make this as a horizontal orientation, horizontal. See, because of the height is here match parent for the buttons, we have to change them to wrap content. Let me copy this. Wrap content, wrap content, wrap content. Yeah. See, these are the 4 buttons. Let me add another button. And see, it is half in the layout and another half is outside the layout. Okay, see, when I see here, you got another half in outside the layout. Let me add another button, another button. Yeah, see, it is showing the other buttons are in outside the layout. Let me deploy this app and see what happens. This is the horizontal scroll view. You can scroll horizontally. See? Yeah. Now, what is our another step? Scroll view is completed. This is completed. Next one is connecting our app to Firebase. For what? Why we are connecting our app to Firebase? Because we want to push our data to Firebase real-time database. Let's get started. Open your browsers. Go to Firebase, your Firebase accounts. Go to your Firebase accounts. The introduction to the Firebase and the basic concepts of the Firebase, we are already discussed that one in the previous videos. So go through that videos for introduction to Firebase and creating the account. Okay, get started. See, this is the Firebase. These are all the services provided by the Firebase. It's very interesting concept. I like Firebase very much. Okay, it is loading. Let's close everything. Close the Google. See, in these many projects I have done using Firebase. Let's create one project for our new app. What is that project? Let's add watch carefully, it's very important. It is a crucial step. See, choose default account for Firebase, create project. Yeah, now Firebase is creating project for us. The first step is connecting our app to Firebase, and next step is creating an XML page with username, age and email edit texts. Okay, click on continue. Now one project is yeah, we got this project. See, this is the Firebase, your Firebase data project. For this project we are connecting an app. So this you can use Firebase for iOS, Android, web development and game development. So I'm using Android, so I click on this Android. See, it is asking Android package name. What is the package name you are using in your app? We can find this project, that package name here. See, com.example.scrollyou in main activity, and you can also find that in your project panel here, com.example.scrollyou. Anything you can copy, both are same. Copy here, paste here, and give a nickname to your app. Database, some data, and give SHA1 certification. So this is very even though it is optional, it is better to give this key. It is very important. See, here also they give some description about that. Required for dynamic links, invites and Google sign in or phone number support in auth. Okay, give that one. You can find in here. See, in right you have one Gradle button. Click on that button. This is your project name. Open that one and go to your app, go to tasks, go to Android. See here, sign in reports. Click on that, double click on that. See, you got SHA1. Copy that SHA1, copy and go to Firebase, paste it here and register your app. First step is completed in connecting process. Now Google will give you a Google -service.json file. It is very important. Download this one. Yeah, save file. Yeah, it is downloaded. Go to downloads, copy this one, copy the file, go to Android. See, here we are in Android phase. Change that to project phase. See, this is our project. Open the scroll view, our project. Go to apps. Here in the app folder you have to paste the Google-service JSON file. Paste it here. You can right click or you can select this and click on Ctrl V. Yeah, JSON file you have to save like this. Okay, save that one. Yeah, this is the JSON file. Google will provide you. Close this one and also close this. See, when you click on sign in reports, it is building. Okay, here see, it will change to scroll view app sign in reports. If you want to build your app into your mobiles, please choose app button. Okay, you are building an app, not an sign in report. Okay, choose that one. Now you successfully pasted the Google service JSON file in app folder. Close that one and again move to Android phase. Yeah, let's go to Firebase and click on next. See, this is a very important step. These are the some dependencies and class paths provided by the Google to use this Firebase. These are very important. Copy this one. These Google and this one are already in our project structure. I will show you in a minute. Copy this one. Go to Android Studio. Minimize this one. Yeah, see here Gradle scripts. There are two types of Gradle scripts. One is project level, another one is module level. go to project level, Gradle build. See, we have the Google here and here. Here we have to add the class path, the copied one which we have copied earlier. Copy and paste that here and sync the project. Here it is building again, and in the meanwhile let's go to Firebase. Here we completed this step, and we have to add this one, this plugin, Google Services plugin. Without syncing we can't proceed with another step. Yeah, it is successfully completed. Let's go to app level Gradle file and paste the class path here and sync now. And we have to add this Google Analytics dependency. See, Firebase use this dependency to analyze our app, like how many users are using this app at this time, at this point of time, or is the app is crashed, how many times it is crashed, at what time it is crashed. So it will collect all this analysis and make one report for every day. Okay, yeah, we have to use this. It is very helpful. See, these are the inbuilt dependencies. Dependencies are like a group of packages. Like in other languages, we just import the packages. In C, we use hash include studio.h. Like those are the packages. When coming to the Android Studio, we call them as a dependencies, not packages. Just naming is different, but the functionality is same. So whenever you are going to use another dependencies, please mention them as the dependency name, like here, comment them and use them. This is the best practice, because whenever anyone want to use your app, use your code, they can find this. So they can recognize that this is the Firebase dependency. See, here it is giving some warning symbol, this background yellow, it is visible, it is yellow in color. So what it is saying that, see, when I am hovering on that, it is giving a message, a newer version of this analytics dependency is available, that is 17.5.0. so please change the version. It is very helpful us. See, when I am hovering on this, click here on this dependency and press alt enter, you will get the suggestions. See, here it is suggesting that change to 17.5.0. now again sync. This is the new version of analytics dependency. Okay, now let's go to the project, that's Firebase, and click on next. See, run your app to verify installation. This is the fourth step. So when we run our app to our mobile phones, then only Firebase will recognize. But this is not necessary. After some time it will automatically find our app, that is, it is installed in some device. It will get the device ID, like what is that phone, what is the phone version. It will get all that information from our phone. You can skip this step, it is not required. Yeah, now we connected our app. See, this is one app. You can add many apps, your wish, but for this project we only required one app. I already added that. Go to databases. See, here in the left panel you have databases. We are already done with the authentication in the previous videos. You can go through them for authentication. Now we are going to database. Okay, choose real-time database. As I said here, connecting our app to Firebase, pushing the data to Firebase real-time database. Okay, so this is the service provided by the Google. Click on create database. See, it is asking us security rules for real-time database. Choose start in lock mode. Okay, it is very useful. we don't require start in test mode. You can go through this in the docs why we are not choosing this one. Enable this one. See, it is loading our database. Yeah, now see, this is our table. When in SQL we name it as a table. Actually in SQL it is a structured query language. At the name it mentioned, it is all are in tables or rows, tables and rows. But here Firebase and Google Firebase follows no SQL format. I will show you in a minute. Wait until we push the data. Go to rules. Here rules. See, follow these steps carefully. These are very important to push the data. Change this to true. And publish. See, we are giving the permissions to the database, that read permission true, write permission true. We can read the data and write the data, but it is giving some warning message. Your security rules are defined as a public, so anyone can steal, modify or delete the data in your database. When they can delete? Unless you give the link, this link. So don't share this links, don't share this database link to anyone. If you share, they can do this modification. Okay, let's go to database. See, now our app is connected to the Firebase. Now we have to enable the real-time database. See, go to this tools option, click on Firebase. Now we have to enable the real-time database to our app. We already enabled that one in our project structure, in Firebase project structure, but in app also we have to do the same thing. See, go to the real-time database. See, click on this button, save and retrieve the data. See, the app is already connected. We do that in manually. And see, here add the real-time database to our app. We have to add this. Click on this button. See, it is changing some changes. Like it is adding one dependency, that is Firebase database dependency. Accept the changes. Minimize this one. Accept the changes. Minimize this one. It is building here. To apply that implement dependencies. To apply the dependencies, it is building. It is taking some time. Yeah, it is successful. And where it is added? See, it is added here. Okay, the best practice is add here. Okay, see, these two are the Firebase dependencies. If anyone want to use your code, they can see here. Okay, they can find that these are the Firebase dependencies. Now sync the project level Gradle file. Okay, now close everything. Now we are done with connection of our app. Now we are going to create one XML file. See, I am removing everything here. I am using the same file. Horizontal scroll view, I am removing it. I am changing it to linear layout. See what I have said. I am adding username, age and email in this XML file. So create one edit text, wrap content. The hint is username. Give the hint as a username, and here give the orientation for linear layout. Don't forget that vertical and gravity. Hint is username. Okay, make width as a match parent. Better than wrap content. Give the ID to this button. ID. We can use this ID for representing this edit text in Java. Give this as edit text username yeah, it is completed. Now copy this edit text, paste for age and email address, change the id. This is not an username, this is age. This is not a username, this is an email. And change the int, it is age. Yeah, we are done with this username, age and email. We have to give one button to make an action. What this button do is, when we clicking on this button, it will push this username, email and age data to Firebase real-time database. Now create one button, yeah, with the match parent, hide wrap content, close this. What is the text? Submit. Or you can give it as a push. Okay, no problem. Background color, what is, I'm using color primary as a background. Use some padding 10 dp and margin 10 dp. Okay, now we are done with 3 edit text and one button. Okay, what is this? Add one text view, wrap content, and give the text as and change this color to black, change the background to white, then it's look beautiful, and give the size to the text size 24 dp, give some no margin as 15 dp. And use button is somewhat near to edit text, change that one using margin top, remove this margin, we don't require this one. And now okay, 10 dp, 15 dp, yeah, it is moved a bit. Now yeah, everything is fine with XML. Now let's move to Java file. And sorry, I have to, yeah, I already given the IDs. I forgot to give ID for the button. Create some variables for edit text and button. Age, and email. Get the control from XML file to Java file, get the control of those edit text and button to these variables. Username equal to id r dot username. We already we already discussed about this find view by id in previous videos. You can watch them in previous videos in YouTube channel Umang Solutions. For email, for age, id dot for button now give some action listeners to this button. What set on click listener, new, capital O and enter. Now see, we have given the set on click listener to this button. Now what we are going to do is we are going to push the data into Firebase. When we are clicking on, when the user click this button, the data is going to push into Firebase database. Wait for a second. First what we have to do, we have to get the data from these edit texts. From where? From these edit texts we have to get the data. When user giving some data here, we have to extract that data. How we can do that? Create one variable, string variable like name. We are going to get the data from username. This is the first edit text. We are going to getting this data from user. We can say get text and we are converting to string. Next, which one? String. User age. User age equal to email equal to email dot get text dot toString. We are now ready to push the data, these data into Firebase real-time database. For that, in Java, for one method we can return only one data. Okay, for this user, if you want to return this username, you have to create one method, and for that method you have to return. And if you want to get the age, if you want to push the age into real-time database, first you have to create a method for this and you have to return. And for each one you have to create one method and you have to return, and again you have to get those return values, and you have to put that in one class. So it is a bit difficult. For that one only we have a pozo class in Java. You can go through the internet what is the pozo class. It is a old object notation, old Java object notation. You can surf that in internet. First we have to create one poser class. For that, it is also known as a model class in Java. It is also named as model class. Wait a second, the Android Studio is very slow today. Okay, Now create one other Java file and name it as a Pozo. The full form of Pozo is plain old Java object. Okay, it is very simple to create in Android Studio. Let's make a string name, comma age, comma email. Okay. Once again I will explain you. In Java, if you want to get the values, we have to create method for everything. See, for username you have to create, for age you have to create, for email you have to create. So when we have to avoid this one, for multiple times we are using multiple times, we have to create multiple times, so we can avoid that one using Pozo class. It is very simple to create and easy. Every developer use these Pozo classes in their apps. Okay. Now go to Pozo class. It is like a helper class. It will help us to keep every data into a container, and it will return that container. What it will do now in our case, it will take username, it will take age, it will take name, and keep that in a it will store them in a one box. It will store in the box. When we are creating object to this class, it will return that box, that whole box. It will return that whole data at a time. That's why it is very important in Java. Now see, it is taking name, age, email. Here name means username, user age, email. Now we have to create a constructor for this. It is very easy. Right click on here in this page, go to generate a constructor. See, we have to create constructor for everything. Click on OK. See, one constructor is created, and we have to also give one empty constructor like public Pozo. Now we have to generate getters and setters. Getters and setters are like, in the name we can find the meaning. Getters and setters. Getters means it will get the data from the user or database, and it will set the data to those variables, and it will again push the data to Firebase. See, getters, it will get the data from user or Firebase. Setters, it will set the data in our app or in Firebase database. Select these two. Select everything. We want getters for these strings. Click on OK. Getters are finished. Now generate setters. Setters to set the data in Firebase app. That's it. It is completed. The Pozo class is completed. Now what we have to do? We have to, the Pozo class is taking what? Name, username, age, and email. So we have to pass this parameters from here. First, to pass these parameters, we have to create object for this Pozo class. Object is like, with this object we can access the information from Pozo class. That is called object. With these objects, Java allows us to create an object. With that object we can access the whole thing which is in that class. In our case, Pozo class. In our case, Pozo class. We are creating object to this Pozo class and getting data or information from that Pozo class. How can we do that? Pozo object equal to new Pozo. And what we have to give here, what are the parameters? These are the data we are getting from the user. So we have to pass this data. How can we pass? Like here, name and username. See, it is giving here the suggestions. First thing is the name. It is taking the parameters for this Pozo class. First parameter is name. You have to give the name, and another parameter is user age. and next parameter is email, user email. Done. Now we created an object to the poser class and we also passed the parameters to that poser class. The next thing is through this object we can access everything in poser class, every data in poser class. Now what we have to do, now we are ready to get the data at a time, so we have to keep this data in Firebase. So what we have to do, this is the Firebase. From here we are going to discuss about Firebase. First we have to get the reference, database reference from Firebase. This database I will show you. This is the database. For this database we have to get the reference. Okay, in Java everything is a class or a method or an object. So in Java for this database reference we have a class called database reference. See, this is the Firebase. Here it is giving Firebase database. Okay, create one reference for this database reference like myref, or you can give it as a data or database reference, anything you can give. So now we created a variable for this class. We can use this class for referencing this Firebase database. Now we can access this database. How can we access? We just created the variable for that, so we can use that variable to get the instance of that class. How Firebase database dot get instance, we are getting the instance of that class, dot get reference, we are getting the reference of that particular instance. Okay, dot, and for that particular instance and for that particular reference we are going to create a child user. What we are giving? User. We are creating a child called user. Through this line we are saying to Java that Java, you have to get the instance from the Firebase database. For that instance you have to get the reference. What is the instance here? We are accessing this one, this object. We are accessing this one here. Get instance, get reference. Up to this one we are accessing up to this one, get reference. We are getting the reference of this data. This is the database, this is the table. Okay, we are getting this one. After that what we are saying to Java, create a child, dot child, create a child. What is the name of that child? User. Create a child. What is the name? User. So what it will do, it will give another one link to this, and for this database it will create one child and it will give a link like structure and create one child. I will show you. Wait a minute. After pushing we can see clearly. Now we have a child called user. In this user child we are going to push this username, age and email. All the user information we are going to push in this user. In SQL it is a one table. User is a one table, and this file data is one table. This is one table. Okay. Now what we have to do, go to Android Studio. Now we get the reference. We have to get a unique key. For every user we have to generate a unique key. For that unique key, what we are going to do, we are saying to Java that string key, first create a string variable key equal to, now we are saying to that Java that data dot get key. I will explain this statement. See, we are saying that Java that for this data, for this database, this data variable is referencing to the Firebase database. What we are saying to Java, this is the database. I am going to push. For this pushing I want a unique key, so I am getting the key. What? This is the data for this database. I want to push in this database. So I want a unique key. So we can get that unique key through this method, get key method. Now we have a unique key. So now what we have to do, we have to push in the data dot to this database. In this database we have the child, we have a child, this is the user child. For this child we have to give the key. This is the unique for everyone, for these keys you have to set the value. For these keys you have to set the value, which one? OBJ. Here OBJ means POSO class object. What we are assigning to this POSO class? Name, user, age, email. So what it will do, it will return everything, this whole name, user mail as a box. It will return a box of this data, and we are setting this box of data to this data, this is the data, this is the child. We are in this data, we have a one child. For that child you have to assign a key. For that key you have to set these three values. You have to set these three values. Okay, now after pushing into the data we have to give a message to the user, that you can use toast. That what we have to give the message, data. Let's run this one. We are completed. Just run this app. Let's verify. The build process takes some time. Wait for a second, it takes some time. See, this is the activity we created. Activity, for this we require two Java classes. One is main activity.java and POSO class. We require this POSO class to push the data. The meanwhile, let's go to, okay, I will explain you the structure, how this going to happen. See, first one, we have a Firebase data. Let's remove this. We have Firebase data. We have Firebase database. First, what we are going to do, first we are getting the reference to this database. What we are getting? Reference. We are getting reference to this database. How? Through this line we are getting the reference. See, what is the reference variable? Data. We are getting the data. The reference variable is data. So here we are saying that for up to this we are getting the reference. For that reference we have to create the child. What the Java will do, for this reference it will create a child. For this reference, like how we have the Firebase database, from here it will has a user as a child. Within this user, what we have, some unique key. For this key, what we are doing, in this key child we are giving the username, username, age, email. See, this is the structure we are going to have in this database, in the Firebase database. Here we are going to have that structure. Okay, now wait for a second. Is the build is completed or it is still going? Yeah, it is completed. Now I will share the screen. Okay, for sharing my screen. Meeting details. Yeah, I already have this one. Yeah, is it? Yeah, it is already in screen share. Let's go to the app. This is the app. See, we have 3 edit text and 1 button, 1 text view. Let's give the username as Santosh. Yeah, wait for a second. SCNT Santosh, age as a 20, email as 1999. Okay, now give submit. See, it is giving us a message, data is submitted. Now let's go to Firebase. See, it is created user child. What I have done, see here in this statement I get the reference and I am creating a child called user. See, we have get the, this is the database, we are getting the reference. For this reference we created a user child. This is the child for this database. What we have within this username, we have one unique key. See, I have said here what we have database, Firebase database. For this database we created a child called user. For this user we have created another child called key, unique key. For every user we have to generate a unique key, unique identity of that one for that user. So for this we have age, email and name. See, we have age, email and username. For this key we have these three data. For this key we have these 3 childrens. These are the 3 childrens for this key. For this user you have 1 key as a child. For this database you have a user as a key. Okay, now it's finished. We successfully completed database pushing. In tomorrow's class we are going to discussing about how to retrieve this data from Firebase database. Okay, until then bye. Until then bye guys. Watch our YouTube channels. Don't forget that we have we also included Python, some Python lectures in that videos. Okay, bye bye.